Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Amy here as promised. I thought we'd talk about some of the fun and easy things that you can eat that don't require any effort. I have a lot of patients come to me and they say, oh man, it's so hard to eat this healthy plant-based way. And it is true, it takes a bit of getting used to, but it's not difficult. It's not expensive and it's actually easy once you get used to it. So for one thing, a lot of people, hi Ann, hi Victoria, glad you guys can join me today. A lot of people, one thing people struggle with is saying, oh, I'm tired of pasta and rice. Can I eat anything else? And what can I eat that's exciting and fun, but still plenty easy? And so here's what we're gonna talk about today. I've got lots of fresh potatoes that I dug up from my garden, and they are the most wonderful food in the world if you treat them right. I have never had a patient gain weight or get overweight eating potatoes. And the truth is, potatoes are your friend, not your enemy. So don't be afraid of the humble potato anymore. Just know how to prepare it and know what you put on top of it. Often, people are having potatoes with, what do you like on your potatoes? I'm sure some of you are gonna say sour cream. Hi guys. Some people are gonna say cheese. What else do people put on their potatoes? Butter, right? All of the stuff that we do to our poor humble potato, and there's your little potato, probably 80 calories of innocent goodness, and you're pouring on a couple hundred calories worth of dressings and sauces and toppings and gravies and all of that. So today we're going to talk about some easy things and some of my favorite things to have with potatoes. Now, I don't mind using a microwave, so I've got a microwave and I just popped my potatoes in there. It literally takes 3 minutes, and then I turn it over and then I do another minute, and it's so easy. So I've got my potato ready to go, and what do I feel like having on it today? Well, some days I'm in the mood for something super cheesy, so I take my grilled capsicum, which I have here. So one grilled capsicum, pop that out. These are beautiful things. They do all the hard work for you, and they grill that entire red capsicum until it's beautiful and delicious and toasted. You can do your own if you have a gas stove top. I've done it before, but just the jarred kind is just a little bit easier. Take one of those, pop it in your blender, take some roasted garlic, the more the better. I love garlic. Pop that in your blender. A little bit of water and half a cup of cashews. Now don't worry about writing this down. I'll have recipes for you and I'll post them below. I'll have a link for you with the recipes there. But cashews, capsicum, garlic, and a little bit of water. I like my herbs, so all the herbs you can find, or a garlic herb salt combo, a bit of salt, depending on how much sodium you may be trying to avoid. Use more herbs, because the herbs really give you that extra taste and that flavor without having to go overboard on the sodium, which is often what we're trying to avoid for most of us, just to stay healthy. And for some people with high blood pressure, really need to watch their sodium intake and keep that down. So lots of flavors from the garlic and the herbs. Onion powder is good too for that extra flavor. Toss all of those things in the blender and whiz it up, and I'll tell you, you get the yummiest, most cheesiest concoction. So there I have my cheese. It's quite solid, you can see. It's pourable, but just barely. It's just the perfect consistency for dipping. So when you get that, you want to take some pita chips or some tortilla chips. I make my own out of pita bread or tortilla. Today I took Farah's wholemeal, popped it in the oven, and this is a single tortilla. That much, minus 2, because I already tasted a few things. That's your tortilla. Just chop it up with nothing on it. No salt, no oil, no butter. Just pop it in the oven and it gets beautiful toasted brown goodness. So I'm gonna pop one of those in, and there you go. You got your yummy cheesy goodness of that cheesy sauce. Now if you want it to be even more cheesy like, just toss some extra potato in the cheese sauce, and you can have potato on your potato. And that actually gives it a bit more of a stringy, gooey goodness. In fact, this one I put potato in today. Sometimes I put in kumara, You can add extra, some people like the sun-dried tomato. I've got my sun-dried tomato strips here. I much prefer the sun-dried tomato strips because the stuff that you get in the cans is packed in oil. So this is not packed in oil, okay? But a lot of those ones that get packed are packed in oil, so you have to watch out for that. That's in a lot of extra fat, and if it's packed in brine, that's a lot of extra sodium that you don't need. So these are tomato strips by Sandhurst brand, and they are nice because they're not super dry, and you can toss those in a lot of things to get flavor. They'll have a bit of salt in them, but it's a lot of extra flavor for minimal salt, so do that. Ooh, and you like cream corn and cherry? Not cherry cheese. I've never heard of that. Okay, we'll have to check that out on your potatoes. But so many fun toppings that you can do, and this is one of my favorites. In fact, my kids, if they don't like a vegetable, I give them this stuff, pour it all over. It's good for pastas, it's good for a lot of things, and they love it. They think I'm amazing, and it takes literally 5 minutes to throw it together. So easy. Now, yesterday when I was shopping, I didn't realize someone's copied me. No, it's my mom's recipe. I'm not sure where she got it. But someone's made spicy capsicum, dairy-free, vegan, gluten-free. And I had a look real quick at the ingredients, and I did taste it for you. So I can tell you it's quite yummy. I don't think it's quite as cheesy. It's more of a dip. Probably it would make a really good pasta. And you'd only want to use probably a tablespoon max as a serving size because it has a lot of sodium and it's got some oil, which probably don't want to overdo. But that's an option. Some people don't have a blender, and if you don't have a blender, or if you want to go to a party and you want to take cheesy something, there's a nice plant-based, dairy-free, vegan, gluten-free as well option that I didn't know about, and it's actually quite tasty. I don't remember how much it was, but these things are usually quite pricey. That's why I like to make my own. And besides, when you make your own, you know what goes in it. So win-win that way. So that's the melty cheese. And like I said, you can put kumara, you can put extra, any kind of veggie potatoes, the sun-dried tomato, those are all really good in it. Orange vegetables, if you need to get pumpkin into your kids or just because you like pumpkin, toss some pumpkin in it. I've done that before and it's really, really tasty. Okay, so that's potato, that's toppings, that's dips. These are the pita, for those of you just joining us. Tortilla chips that you can make your own. Just cut them up, pop them in the oven, put nothing on them. Okay, I make pita chips too. If you get the whole grain ones, these are the whole grain pitas, as they say in New Zealand. We say pita, you guys say pita, the wholemeal version. They come out really nice, toasty and brown. And I would probably toast it a bit more than that. Sometimes I do spray a bit of oil just atop one side. I have my handy dandy little refillable spray bottle. So you can just like spritz it on like that, a really light layer. And then you don't have to have like just goo gobs of oil all over your food. Just a light layer of olive oil, and it makes it really tasty. You might want to put some garlic salt, garlic herb salt on it if you want to. But those pita ones are great for dipping. I would also dip that in the cheese sauce and hummuses, which I'm going to show you next, okay? So we are on to hummuses. Before I forget, actually, here's another very fun, tasty snack that a lot of people like. It's often easy to want to go snack on nuts or fatty things, and nuts are okay. To some half handful of dry unroasted nuts a day, they say, will actually help you live longer. So nuts are okay, but not those party nuts with the other oil and salts and things mixed in. But this is a really yummy option for snacking on. I don't know anyone that doesn't love this, and this is actually called edamame, and it's very healthy and it's very good for you because it's just boiled soybeans. And you just take one of these and you pop it open and you pop these little guys into your mouth. Can you see that? and they are tasty. Just a tiny bit salty, chewy, yummy, just the right amount of flavor to take along to a party or to have in a lunchbox, to do for your kids' lunch boxes, or just to have when you need something quick and easy to eat. So that's high protein, high fiber, gonna fill you up. It's not gonna give you tons of extra calories and fat and all of that that you're gonna get from the typical nuts that are fried and oiled and salted and all of that. So that's another good one. Okay, so I promised hummus. A lot of you wanna learn how to make your own hummus because it's cheaper, it's easy, it's so easy to make hummus, and you can put anything you want in it, okay? If you haven't tried out hummus, there's a whole entire hummus section in pretty much every supermarket in New Zealand now. I'm very impressed. And you can get all kinds of flavors. Here's the commercial ones that I like the best. Beetroot, amazing. Some of you hate it, but I love it. Roasted carrot honey, amazing. This goes really well on my pittas. I take them, my little whole grain pittas, and I put a dollop of that and a little bit of tomato paste, smear it on, toss it in the oven. Instant pizzas. The kids love me. They think I'm amazing. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe it is really amazing. Actually, I like it too. And we have my all-time favorite, roasted kumara and butternut. So if you want to make these, easy to do. The basic thing that you have in hummus is chickpeas. So you'll take a can of chickpeas or cook up your own chickpeas and you toss it in. You can toss it in with or without the water. The water that the chickpeas is cooked in is called aquafaba. If you whiz it up, fun fact, it actually makes almost like a stiff peaked egg white type ingredient called aquafaba. And you can use that for dressings, you can use that for all sorts of things. Chickpeas are so amazing. You can do so many things with them. I think I should do an entire topic on chickpeas. But anyway, toss your can of chickpeas in, and then you'll want to get some tahini. Here we go. In case you haven't heard of tahini, tahini is basically sesame seed butter. Instead of peanuts, you use sesame seeds, and you put about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of that depending on your taste. You might find it a little bit of a bitter flavor at first, so you might just gradually get a bit more of that. Oh, what were the strips? You guys were wondering about these strips? Those the ones? Or the tomatoes? The tomato strips. Oh, pretty much anywhere. I think these ones came from New World or Countdown. Yeah, it wasn't anywhere fancy. I don't shop fancy places. I get my groceries from Countdown online or New World, depending on what I'm in the mood for. So those they're in the dried food type aisle. And yeah, most places have them. Tomato strips, family collection, Sandhurst, Sandhurst. You can see that. Yeah, I'll try and get some photos of these just for you guys. They're really handy. I like them for camping, traveling, all sorts of things because they're not messy and quite good. Okay, so we got that. Oh, so we're making hummus. You've got your can of chickpeas. You've got your tahini. Absolutely always have to have lemon juice, preferably fresh lemon, but lemon juice is okay. Sometimes I don't have fresh lemons or they're too expensive and I just have my bottled version, which isn't as good, but it's okay. And you toss those in a blender and you just whiz it up super quick and then just add your salt or your garlic or any other flavorings that you like and spread it on your bread or anything that you're having. Make a sandwich out of it, have it on your potato. And I love hummus on potatoes. It's so yummy. So that's really easy. Really doesn't have to be complicated. And then if you want to add your cooked pumpkin, your cooked kumara, any of those other things that you want to add, cooked beetroot if you like it, carrots, whatever, add that in and you'll have really delicious, yummy hummus. Okay? Some people say you have to add olive oil. You don't need olive oil if you use the aquafaba, but just make sure you don't toss in all of the liquid from the chickpea can until you get the consistency you want. So I'd probably reserve the liquid aside, start blending, and gradually add the liquid back in, and you might need just half of the liquid. Very easy. So that's hummus. You can make all kinds, all flavors, get as creative as you want. and share with us your favorite flavors. You might think of something I haven't thought of. A lot of people like to make a pesto flavor with basil and put that on their pasta, and it's really good that way. I mix hummus in, same hummus and the tomato paste, mix it in with the kids' pasta. The kind of pasta that we have is the pulse pasta. I don't know if you've seen that. I should show you. In case you haven't seen this, this is amazing stuff. Pulse pasta, red lentils, and a number of other ones made by San Remo that you can find anywhere. And just cook them up 8 minutes, mix in your hummus and some tomato paste, because the kids like that tomatoey flavor, but I don't care for all of the other additives in the sauces, and they love it that way. And then just toss in whatever veggies that are steamed that you like or have ready to go. So those are super fun, easy, yum. Okay, I might be getting carried away, and I was gonna make this a quick one today. So that's hummus. We've got our melty cheese, if you're just joining us. The melty cheese made with potatoes, cashews, grilled capsicum, super easy, tasty, yum. And you can also put that on pretty much anything. I can't think of anything that melty cheese doesn't go good on. So try that. Here's another really yummy snack. Have you guys, who's had kale chips? I'll take a look at what we've got today. We've got kale chips here, and I've added a little bit of miso. A little bit of miso made out of soybeans. It's a soybean paste. And I've added a little bit of nutritional seasoning. That's quite yummy stuff. If you haven't had it, look up Bragg's Nutritional Seasoning Yeast. So yummy. This can go on anything and everything and instantly makes it 10 times more cheesy. And then I do spritz it with a little bit of oil just to start with to make everything stick. And that's so tasty. Here's a really nice textured, cheesy looking one if you want to see what it looks like up close. And even my kid that hates green stuff will eat them quite happily. So I especially like it with the miso. There's, you know, is it 4 or 5 flavors of taste that we can taste? And umami is one of them. And that's actually what miso has in it. So if you want to get some of that extra flavor, miso, you can use many different kinds of miso. Just take a tiny bit, like a teaspoon, maybe 2, and just massage that in. And once it's all massaged in to the little pieces of kale, anything that you like will stick to it, and it's just so yummy and tasty. It's got a bit of salt, got a bit of sodium for those of you who are watching your blood pressure, so don't overdo it. Miso is what they use for soup. The Japanese like to have miso soup, and it goes really well with sushi, which is probably fun food that we should make another day because I love making sushi. But miso just works really well for flavoring, and I think a lot of people forget that. Similar to soy sauce or tamari, which you can get low salt, low sodium versions that are really yum. So that's the miso. The other thing that I kind of like to do is make tofu a bit like this. I do that a light saute in a bit of lemon juice, a tiny bit of soy sauce, a tiny bit of olive oil, and that gives you a nice little piece of dipping tofu. And you can put this in a wrap, or you can dip it in your cheese, you can dip it in your sauces, you can have it on your potato, you can make it really beautiful, but it's quite a delicious way to have tofu. If you're scared of trying tofu, try sauteing it with a little bit of olive oil or sesame oil, extra yummy, and just a tiny bit. And then once it's nice and brown, add some lemon juice and some tamari, and oh yum, so tasty. So I usually cube it up. It's handier that way, and then you can have it as leftovers, which is, these are leftovers from last night. So you have food to go into a lunchbox or a wrap for lunch the next day. So those are quite easy and tasty. Do you guys want me to show you how I do the kale, or are you pretty much, I don't think it's too complicated, but basically if you have a little baby kale from the garden, I've got all these little baby ones and irregular sized ones. I'll just take a piece and probably break it in half. And then you have one of those and maybe break this one in half again. And then you just massage them together in a bowl or just straight on your tray with a little bit of that olive oil and just massage in your flavorings and then just plaster them down as flat as possible. They don't like to go flat. And then pop them in the oven, and literally they take, in a good warm oven, probably about 8 minutes. So they're ready to go. Kids can start snacking on those if you've got the rest of dinner to sort out. Between that and the edamame, my kids are pretty happy waiting for the rest of it. I have to get my New Zealand temperatures. I usually do it about 180 at 180 degrees for the kale to get nice and crispy. It doesn't have to be high. In fact, the slower the better, but actually 9 minutes is generally enough time because they're just thin, paper thin little things, and they do get overdone very easily. Another thing that I like, and I put it here so I would remember on my potato, I like to mash up some avocado and mix in some garlic, herb salt, any other toppings that I like. Avocado makes a really good binder to bind it together, and then you can just pile that on your potato. We have friends over sometimes and we have potato bars, and so I provide the potatoes and a few toppings, and they bring their favorite toppings along. And this is a really fun thing that you can do with people that might be plant-based and some people that might not be. Everyone can kind of add their own toppings and make it a really fun activity to do together, and people can try new things, which is actually the really fun part about it. Pretty much, I think that's it today. Maybe I'll save some more for another day, but it's so good to see you guys here. Thanks for commenting, thanks for sharing, and we're hoping to get together in real life real soon. But this is just a fun way to share some information and to share some ideas around. Okay, put your questions down below, comments as well, and let me know what you want to hear about next. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.